Emily Carter grew up in a quiet Ohio town, the kind where neighbors knew each other by name and the corner diner was the heart of Main Street. She had always been active, playing softball in high school, hiking with friends on weekends, and helping her dad in the family garage. But when a car accident at 17 left her unable to walk, her life changed in an instant. At first, Emily believed recovery was only a matter of time. Her parents drove her to specialists across the Midwest, Cleveland, Chicago, even as far as New York City. Each hospital was a new glimmer of hope. She sat in waiting rooms filled with anxious patients, staring at glossy posters promising breakthroughs in medicine. Every doctor listened carefully, studied her charts, ordered new tests, and then delivered the same crushing verdict. "There's nothing more we can do." The words sank deeper each time she heard them. Doctors talked about nerve damage, limited options, and expensive therapies with little chance of success. Emily wanted answers, but all she received were sympathetic glances and clinical explanations. What they didn't realize was that they weren't just talking about her legs, they were talking about her future, her independence, her very sense of identity. Back home, life in a wheelchair was a constant reminder of what she had lost. Everyday tasks, things she had once taken for granted, turned into exhausting challenges. Grocery shopping meant struggling to reach items on high shelves. Visiting friends meant checking if their houses had ramps. Even crossing the street alone filled her with anxiety. She hated the feeling of relying on others for help, hated the pity in people's eyes when they held doors open for her just a little too long. Yet, Emily kept fighting. She enrolled in college classes online, worked part-time at the local library, and tried to live with as much normalcy as possible. Still, at night when the world grew quiet, the hopelessness crept in. She dreamed of running again, of standing tall, of dancing to her favorite country song at a summer fair. Each dream felt like a cruel reminder of what she couldn't have. The hardest part wasn't the pain or the limitations. It was the feeling of being abandoned by the very system she had trusted. Doctors were supposed to heal, specialists were supposed to offer solutions, but instead, they had handed her despair neatly packaged in medical terms. Emily often wondered if her story was already written, if the rest of her life would be defined by that one terrible accident. She tried to stay strong for her family, especially for her mother, who never stopped believing. But inside, Emily carried the heavy weight of disappointment. She didn't want pity. She wanted possibility. She wanted someone to tell her that her life wasn't over, that hope still existed somewhere beyond hospital walls. Little did she know, her search for hope wouldn't come from a doctor's office or a medical textbook. It would come from the most unexpected place, a small-town mechanic with a heart as big as his toolbox. It was a breezy Saturday afternoon in the heart of town. Emily had just finished her shift at the library and was making her way home. The streets were alive with the usual weekend buzz. Kids riding bikes, families heading to the diner, and shopkeepers sweeping their sidewalks. For Emily, it was just another ordinary day in her wheelchair. But then, right in the middle of Main Street, her worst fear happened. The chair jerked and came to a stop. The front wheel had locked, and no matter how hard she tried, it wouldn't move forward. Her heart raced. She tugged at the wheels, hoping it was just a temporary jam, but the metal groaned and refused to budge. A couple of people walked past, offering sympathetic glances, but no one stopped. Emily's face flushed with embarrassment. She hated looking helpless in public, and now she was stuck, literally stranded in the middle of town. Just as despair began to weigh on her chest, she heard a voice. "Looks like you've got some trouble there," a man said warmly. Emily looked up to see a tall figure walking over from a small auto repair shop across the street. His name tag read, Tom. His hands were stained with grease and he carried a well-worn toolbox. There was no judgment in his eyes, only genuine concern. I think the wheel's broken," Emily admitted, her voice shaky. Tom crouched down beside her chair, inspecting the jammed wheel as if it were just another car part. "Don't worry," he said confidently. "If I can fix an engine, I can fix this." Within moments, he had tools spread neatly on the pavement. He loosened bolts, realigned the axle, and cleaned out a piece of metal lodged inside the wheel. Emily watched silently, a mix of disbelief and gratitude filling her heart. Nobody else had stopped, yet here was this stranger, treating her chair as if it were the most important machine in the world. "Try it now," Tom said after a few adjustments. Emily cautiously pushed forward. The chair rolled smoothly across the pavement, as if nothing had ever gone wrong. Relief washed over her, and before she could stop herself, tears streamed down her cheeks. "You have no idea what this means to me," she whispered. "Doctors told me for years there was nothing left they could do, but you just gave me back my freedom." Tom smiled, wiping his hands on a rag. Sometimes hope doesn't come from doctors or machines. Sometimes it just takes someone willing to care. In that simple moment, Emily felt something she hadn't in years: hope. Not the kind promised by hospitals or buried in medical charts, but real, human hope born from kindness. As Tom packed up his toolbox and gave her a friendly wave, Emily knew she would never forget that day. A stranger with grease-stained hands had done more than fix her wheelchair. He had reminded her that her story wasn't over, that miracles sometimes come from the most unexpected places. That night, as she rolled into her home with tears of joy still glistening in her eyes, Emily realized a powerful truth. Medicine can treat the body, but kindness heals the soul.